Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. This is John. John Talks About, that's the name of this channel, and today talking about something slightly different. I am currently sat at our local services, and by services I mean like motorway services where you'd come to fill up. One of our new tasks that we've now taken on since my car went back last Friday, all clear. The car was clean for them, the wheels were restored to perfection, and they only commented on a slight dent in one of the rear doors, which I've no idea where it came from. But anyway, they said it was fine. So, car went back on Friday. Today, however, I've picked up a new task of the vehicles, and I say this from a grateful standpoint. So let me just caveat what I'm about to say by saying I am grateful that we have this car. This is Yvonne's company car. She's lucky enough or has worked her way to a position where she was given a car. And I can remember getting my first ever company car, and it felt like a perk at the time. It felt like you had really earned or unlocked an extra part of your career or job where you were given a car to go along with it. But over the years, the policies have changed. Different governments have had different viewpoints on it, and it's effectively been taxed into oblivion, pretty much like everything else. So it's no longer really a perk, is it? It's just part and parcel of some more senior positions. So this is Yvonne's car. It's also a Volvo. It's an XC40 all electric. Now, I don't have anything against electric cars. If you want to have an electric car and you feel like you're making some difference towards saving the planet, or it was more cost effective to have for the mileage that you were doing, plus lack of road tax, etc., felt appealing, all power to you. Where I do have an issue with the likes of these kind of policies is when it's just like rammed down your throat. And like many businesses now, the company that Yvonne works for has adopted a green agenda, which means anybody that has to have a company car must have an electric car. No choice, nothing to state about it. You got to have an electric car. So this wasn't Yvonne's choice of car. It was a vehicle that had been handed back by a colleague, and it was given to Yvonne when she moved into her position that had a vehicle. So we've had this electric Volvo, which is kind of sat outside. Now, why am I in the services? Well, simply the car needs charged. We don't have a charger at home, and there's a couple of reasons for that. The property that we live in, we don't own. I didn't buy that. When I moved to Northampton for a job, I initially flat shared with somebody, house shared, to find my feet whilst Yvonne was still living in our, at the time, our owned flat in Glasgow. And so Yvonne was still living there and I was in England, so I had a house share with somebody for the first 6 months of my time in living in the south. And then I was able to rent a small apartment to myself for another 12 months. And halfway through that period, Yvonne got a job in England and moved to join me in that small 1-bedroom apartment. And so I had that lease for 1 year. And then we had an opportunity to take the house that we're in now in the same estate as where I was renting the 1-bedroom, and we took that opportunity. And then, like in many of these situations, we just never really got round to buying because we were never sure about where we wanted to be. I was initially working in Rushden, which is just miles away from Northampton. Yvonne was working in Milton Keynes, so, a short distance away. And then I left the job in Rushden, moved to a job in London. And again, Northampton seemed appropriate enough for us to commute back and forth. I was taking a train, Yvonne was driving to Milton Keynes. And so again, the move just never seemed right. And at one stage, we actually offered to buy the house from the woman that we're renting from just now. She wasn't really comfortable with that. And so we stayed put. And then as we got into the lockdown periods, we talked about moving back home. And again, we were going to rent for a little while or maybe buy, but we weren't sure on locations. And all of this was around looking after my dad and his health situations. And so, like many couples in these moments, you don't get to a decision, and we've stayed renting. So the house that we're in isn't ours, and that leads into then fitting a car charger. Now, the owner said, no problem, go ahead, but the cost was on us. Yvonne said to her work, do you provide a charger for the electric car? And of course, the answer to that was, no, we don't. That cost is on you. So they give you an electric car, but they don't give you the facilities to charge it. And I, at the time, researched it, and it was coming in somewhere between £1,000 and £1,500 to charge this car. And again, at that point, Yvonne and I had already started to discuss either moving back to Scotland or moving further afield and exploring and seeing what was going on. And all of this was dependent on my dad's health. And then he passed away, and then it's kind of moved those decisions to a different standpoint for us. Moving back home to Scotland feels less appealing now, for various reasons. And so getting the car charger fitted at home has never came around. And now that we are one car dependent, I know, boo-hoo, you've only got one car, I get it. But now that we're one car dependent and that car just happens to be electric, I refuse to have that car charger fitted. And normally Yvonne would just go to the office every couple of weeks and would charge it up at the office. But the company were allowing staff to charge the car free of charge. That seemed like a really nice deal. Go to the office, charge your company car for free. But as always, that's been abolished and now you have to pay for it. So Yvonne doesn't really need to work from the office. She works from home. The only benefit of going to the office is the social interaction with people and also then potentially charging the car. So now here I am sitting at the local services for, I don't know how long this is going to take it. I got here, it was on 28%. It's been charging for the length of time I'm talking to you. It's at 35% at 85 pence per kilowatt, I think. So who knows how much this is going to cost. This is my first time ever charging up an electric vehicle. So I'm sat here and I thought, I'll chat to you guys. I'll explain what's going on and I'll talk a little bit about this car. So that was the point of today's discussion. Does anybody else on this channel, do you have an electric car? What's your thoughts on it? Like I say, I'm not against it. I just wouldn't go out my way to have one. And we've ended up with one and now it's kind of our solo car. So I'm very thankful that we've been able to work our way to getting a car as part of a job. But all of the perks and bonuses and everything else that came with it, long gone. Long gone. I mean, you know, people that talked about the fact that there was no road tax on these, also gone, right? Road tax is abandoned. And it's just the slow erosion of any benefit that you might have gotten out of it over time. Isn't that what we see with everything? So I'm charging the car. Secondly, I wanted to mention that thanks to everybody who got in touch about yesterday's council tax discussion. I know that's a hot topic, I could see that in the replies, but it seemed like the general sentiment from people responding to me was that you were also seeing your bills going up and you were questioning what's going on. So as the kind of hive mindset, at least that's positive that we're all seeing the erosion of our income on many different fronts, not just the council tax. But I did laugh because I think this morning when I got up and opened my email, there was another one from Northamptonshire Council to remind me that my garden waste bill also now needs paid. So even though I pay for the bins to be collected, it doesn't include garden waste and I have to pay for that as a separate subscription over and above the 2,200 odd pounds that I mentioned in yesterday's video. And somebody in the comment, I think it was Square Slice Sausage, had said they've just got their bill in and it was like £47. And I laughed because I think 4 years ago when it was introduced in Northampton, it was like £38. Then it went to £42. Then it went to £47. Then it went to £52. And the bill I received this morning is for 60 quid. Yeah, £60 to take away my grass trimmings, on top of the 2,200 and something odd pounds that I pay for just council tax. So just another tax, a tax on waste. What am I supposed to do? Not cut the grass? Not trim the bushes outside? So I'm going to have to pay for that, because what else am I going to do with it? Scoot up to the refuge tip in my electric car and throw it in a skip somewhere? Oh, these laughs must sound more and more psychotic as I deliver these conversations to you, as I chuckle my way through each of these discussion points. But hey-ho, I digress. That's today's chat. Let me know down in the comments, what do you think about electric cars? Do you also have garden waste, a tax on it as well, over and above your council tax, or is that still included? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you all. Thanks for watching today's video. If anything, this channel is diverse, right? Last Thursday, it was about cancelling gym memberships. By Saturday, it was about Findus crispy pancakes. And today, it's a follow-on from council tax and a rant about my electric car charging. They tell you when you start a YouTube channel to find your niche. If anybody can tell me what my niche is, let me know in the comments. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you in tomorrow's video. And again, if you're new here or you've been following along from the beginning, you might have missed a video or two. So YouTube thinks you'll like this one that shows up here to carry on the journey of listening to John Talks About. Thanks for your viewership. Have a great day.